All right, here we go. Today we have former undercover DEA agent Louis Diaz, the man largely responsible for busting New York drug kingpin Nicky Barnes and dismantling the commission. Welcome to VladTV.
Thank you.
Well, it's your first time here. I want to start on the very beginning. So, you were born in 1947.
Yes.
Your parents are from the north part of Spain.
Yes.
And you grew up in Red Hook, Brooklyn.
Yes.
So what was Brooklyn like
in
the 50s and 60s?
Brooklyn was beautiful, Matt. I mean, it was the best part of my life. You have to figure, a lot of guys, tough guys, wise guys, they went to the army because they got sentenced there. Instead of going to the joint, they said, you're going to do 2-3 years in the army. I was do 3 years in the joint, right? And there was other guys, when they came out, they got married, okay? And they were part of the community, but in a nice way. But also, guys that came back, they were having kids left and right. So Red Hook, my neighborhood, was replete with kids. One block, 4 apartments, all with kids. 20 houses down the road, four families. They were all over the street, on the street. It was like, it was wonderful. You know, you play street games all day long. A lot of camaraderie, a lot of tough things too. You had a lot of fights, you know. That's the way it was growing up in Brooklyn.
Was there a Mafia presence?
Yes, it was. But not too much with us. I mean, they were known. They did certain things. You know, if you wanted to get liquor, you went to see Casimiro. You wanted to get suits, you went to see Bobby. Things of that sort. But I knew Joe, and I like Joe, matter of fact, Joe Gallo.
Okay. Well, age 17, you joined the Army.
Correct.
You went out to Germany for a while.
Correct.
And then you came back in 68?
64, 66, 66.
66. Okay. You came back, you got married.
Correct.
And one of the guys from the Genovese family actually attended your wedding.
Yes.
Okay. So the Mafia presence was somewhat around you during
Yes.
that time.
Matter of fact, I can tell you a story about that if you want to know.
Sure, go ahead.
When I was a kid, my mom's gumare, you know what that is, right? Was Adela Capolino, all right? Capolino was a major figure for the ILA, International Longshoremen Association. Mm-hmm. She used to send a Cadillac, a limousine to my house to pick us up to take her to a house. I didn't know from nothing then, you know. I didn't know, wow, look at this, you know. And we'd be there, and that was it. But later on, I found out that Capolino was a main guy. He was big. He had about 20 homicides. He got away with everything. And he was a strong arm for the union. I found out later on. I didn't really want to know about it before that, especially when I was on the job, because if UID got involved with me and put me on a seat with the lie detector test, I couldn't fail it, you know, because I was telling the truth. I didn't know the guy. I know nothing about him. See, so yeah, I did know him. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, by 1971, you actually wanted to become a federal drug agent, but you had smoked some weed during that time?
That was, I tell you, I met with a guy, this fella was a very good person. Louis Gonzalez, he worked for FBI. That's the guy who made the frog in the elevator. And he told me, just watch out for this guy. He don't like me, you know? So I went for the interview. Lord, I got the guy for the interview, this fucking guy, the same guy. So he told me, what about this, what about that? Did you ever smoke? Oh, yeah, I smoked a joint. That was it. One time. I was gone. One time.
Okay, so first you joined the U.S. EEOC?
What's that?
The EEOC?
Oh, sure, yes.
As an investigator first?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Okay. But you had a neighbor who worked for the ATF.
Correct.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Yes.
And then I guess through him, that's how you ended up joining the ATF?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's a beautiful story, by the way.
Okay. So now by 72, age 25, you're part of the ATF.
Correct.
So how are those early days like?
Well, they kind of used me and my partner, Ray Martinez, like a Toyota. Got a lot of mileage out of us, with little gas. But we were out there making a lot of cases. And a lot of the cases were made on cold information, without informants. But the name of the game is informants, okay? And we hit the street with a fervor, with fire, you know? And many of the cases that I made in particular were cold cases. There were no informants, there was no intelligence. And basically what I would do is, I went to school in Williamsburg, so I knew it back and forth. I went to Holt Training High School. So I knew the haunts where these people hung out, you know. So what I would do is on the way home, I would stop there for a while, hang around, you know, go into a bar, have a couple of drinks and so forth and so on. But I knew where the tough guys were, where the guys that made trouble were. So I concentrated myself in that area until I made myself known. And then when I got myself known, we went into business.
Okay, and weren't you providing like guns to the mob during that time?
That was my story.
Okay.
That was my cover story.
Your cover story.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, and then by 75, you actually joined the DEA.
Correct.
Which is the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Yes, sir.
And that's where really you got into your stride.
Yes.
All right, so as you started to join, was the undercover thing, you know, is that how it started, or did that kind of, you know, start later on?
No, it started almost right away.
Okay.
Well, I came into DEA with a reputation, and they looked to me to do certain things, and I did.